What's up, peeps? No Dynamite? No problem. We got you covered with some Impact Wrestling women's pay-per-view review. We have tons of information about GCW and their meteoric rise. Plus, 8 minutes and 12 seconds? Really? You gotta be better than that. This is Total Spotfest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to Total Spotfest. This is JJ Brownlee. That is Jamie Faulkner. We are here to give you not your regularly scheduled Thursday programming due to the glorious return, I should say, of NHL and NHL on TNT. No new Dynamite yet, so if you haven't heard, we're shifting our AEW night to Tuesday. So tonight we're going to do a little wrestling roundabout. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate it. If you're checking us out on YouTube, as I always say, leave a comment down below to join the conversation. Hit the like button while you're down there. It does help us out quite a bit. If you want to subscribe and hear more, please do that. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast provider, join the conversation by giving us a tweet on Twitter at Total Spotfest. And no matter who you are, go ahead and check out our website, totalspotfest.com. From there, you can go to the merch table and get yourself a very sweet heel shit shirt. If you haven't watched our interview with the Howlets on our last episode, please do. This is the inspiration behind this glorious piece of apparel.
It's quite glorious.
Jamie's is coming like on Friday, so yeah.
Even though we ordered them at the exact same time,
within seconds of each other.
Yeah.
We completed it together, like on each computer within seconds, but mine 2 days earlier.
Yeah, weird.
Man, no idea. So, all right. So how you doing, Jamie, man? Your week's been going well?
It's not bad. Can't complain.
I literally thought that we recorded this on Wednesday, and I thought today was a Thursday all day. I don't know why.
Same.
Okay, so it's something in the water, apparently. Maybe it's because it's been raining like a son of a bitch. It's just been bogging. I don't know, but I'm like, oh, at least I only got one more day of work. Oh, shit. No, I don't.
Yeah. No.
Well, we're going to get into it. So we're going to do a little wrestling roundabout here. I want to start off talking about Impact. Now, I know that tonight is a new episode of Impact, but over the weekend was a pay-per-view. This was Impact's return to all-female pay-per-views. They first did one back in 2017. So, not a new concept, although some people think that, it is. Some people think that Revolution was the first ever women's pay-per-view from WWE. Yeah. Yep. There was promotions. Hello, have you seen that Netflix show? There was a whole promotions that were nothing but women. So
Yeah.
I do want to talk about it at the end here, because we're going to get into some of the juxtaposition of. I know we do spend quite a bit of time on women's wrestling, but for good reason. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do that right now, because Knockdown was over the weekend, all female pay-per-view for Impact. And when I say all female, I mean it. It was all female competitors, all female announcers, all female referees. Everything was the audience was all female. No, the audience was mixed. Mm-hmm. But it was really cool. So they had like a tournament. It was like their something in another cup tournament. I don't remember the title of it exactly, but they did a tournament throughout the night there. The winner wins, big old cup, right? And excuse me, gets a future Impact Knockout Championship match. So they did this very similar format. Have you seen this on any other pay-per-view? So you open the show; those are your first matches, or the first round matches. Then they'll have something else. Then the second round. So they space them out. So it actually began. Here's the cool thing, because this is really the only promotion. I think AEW had a graphic before one of their shows, but the only promotion to really give props to Daphne. It is the promotion she's probably best known for. I know she was briefly in WCW, for what, like 2 years or something?
Yeah, well, she was with them, and then they got bought by WWE, and WWE didn't pursue her.
They didn't like the screaming thing. So she was like near the end of WCW. She was there for a couple years or whatever. But she'd been around the indies and stuff too. But she was really probably to today's average wrestling fan best known from, TNA and Impact.
Yeah.
So they opened it up with Gail Kim, everybody in the ring, and everybody around there, and the whole locker room too, all the men as well, everybody around the ring, and they did 10 bell salute to Daphne. So it was a very nice moment. There's side note, if there's actually a very, very good inter-promotional, non-WWE of course, but inter-promotional movement going on right now. It's called Tag Me In. They can buy t-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. It's donated to mental health awareness, and so very good charity. Highly recommend supporting it. We're big proponents of taking care of yourself. Sad stuff, but they actually gave good tribute. And throughout the night, women were wearing DAF armbands, and one of the competitors was actually somebody who was trained by Daphne, and so she had like Daphne inspired gear and stuff. So lots of very good, very touching tributes to Daphne, as it would be expected, I'll say.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So they opened up the first round of the tournament with Rachel Ellering versus Frosted Mini Feet, Lady Frost.
That's awesome.
Who has been making a lot? She's been making a lot of appearances. She was on Impact last week. She is in a 6-woman tag and teamed up with Kimberly and Brandy Lauren, and just looked uncomfortable the whole time. It was great. She needs a contract with somebody. She really does.
She's really damn good. Like I don't get how she's not signed. I'm just dumbfounded.
I don't know. The couple things she did during the pandemic in AEW were good.
Yeah,
she's been good in Impact. She's been on MLW and Ring of Honor as well. I don't know if I think she's somewhere amongst contracted somewhere between them, more than just an extra. But she deserves a contract. She's really good. Her husband's fantastic. They actually do intergender tag team together, which is very entertaining. And you can easily find that by doing a quick Google or search in Twitter. But regardless, this was not her night to move on. Rachel Ellering did, of course. You could pretty much guess that the first round, the people that were, not of regulars, they weren't going to be proceeding too far. But it's still cool. Second match was Chelsea Green versus Renee Michelle, who's been got herself back into real good wrestling shape, and she looked very good. Chelsea Green, though, of course, got the victory. And then you had Brandy Lauren, the aforementioned, who I know you love this because Jamie's all about the whore, right? 100%. He likes the ring, but the stable of soulless women that Sue Young has collected, her dolls. I love this so much.
Me too.
It is so thought through, long term. Just it is fantastic. And she went up against Mercedes Martinez. This was a pretty short order match. Now, you got a whole tournament to get through. You got to have some quickies, right? This was the quickie of the first round, and Mercedes got the victory. Moving on. Mercedes looked great too. Came back, she looks much better from the concussion.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into all that. Last match was Tasha Steele versus Jamie Senegal. I don't know if are you familiar with Jamie Senegal at all?
Yeah.
Yep. She is the second that I know of. I don't know who came first, but the second trans wrestler, and she was actually one of the proteges and one of the people who trained under Daphne. So she was very emotional. Did a promo before and everything. It's very touching and whatnot. And she put on a good match. Now Tasha Steele is definitely firing on all cylinders right now in her career. So she definitely got the victory. And it's going to be Tasha Steele versus Chelsea Green, and then Mercedes Martinez versus Rachel Ellering in the second round. So that was a good way to kind of kick it off there. You had some good, quick little matches. Then you had the Knockouts title match. It was Deonna Purrazzo versus Masha Slamovich, who I know you like
That's a great name.
It's a fantastic name. And she's got this she's kind of like even Drago's wife, if she was a little bit shorter, but a lot more, beefy.
Yeah.
She got like the weird side, straight up like Bride of Frankenstein looking hair. But this match was really good because Masha is a very similar style wrestler to Deanna, and the two of them put it on. Very good match. Of course, Deanna won. She's going to retain, right? She has like 2 or 3 additional booked title defenses coming up, including Bound for Glory, but she did win. Now, this didn't air on the pay-per-view afterwards, but it was tweeted out about it that I saw online that night, and Impact has released it as a video on their YouTube. But after the match, Deanna goes back. Masha's giving, thank you to the crowd. Here comes Gail Kim and offers Masha a Knockouts title, or Knockouts contract.
Oh, nice.
So Masha Slamovich is officially on Impact. So, I mean, this whole thing is just proof pudding in that, we always said for the longest time, NXT, that'd be NXT 1.0, had the best women's division by far, right?
Yeah.
And they did for the longest while. And while they still have a lot of good stuff in their women's division now, we don't really watch NXT, that much. I catch a little bit here and there, if mostly in clips on Twitter and shit. But Impact has been the standard bearer for the women's divisions since they really started the women's revolution back in 07, something like that. So adding to it, Masha Slamovich, he's on Impact, so that's cool.
That is cool.
Round 2 was next. You had Mercedes Martinez advancing over Rachel Ellering. So this was a very good match. Rachel, I feel like, she came in, they gave her the tag titles real fast to Jordan Grace, and then they took them off them real fast. And, I feel like but she's really, I think, found her rhythm and everything. So this was a fantastic match. Then you had Chelsea Green and Tasha Steele. Tasha Steele got the win. This was actually a very good match by Tasha Steele as well. So Tasha Steele, Mercedes Martinez, a lot of Hispanic flair in the championship match.
Yeah.
So next you had Christy Hemme come out. Yes, Christy Hemme made an appearance, right? Yeah, she didn't have like 16 kids like hanging around her. She ran away to be on TV for a hot minute. Her Twitter is hilarious because she her and her husband just like pumped out like a bunch of kids real fast. And so she was on a farm. They have a farm in like Oregon or something, and her tour is nothing but her like hot mess life of motherhood. It's actually pretty funny. But she came out to make the announcement that during Bound for Glory every year they do Hall of Fame, right? So yeah. This one of this year's Hall of Fame inducted is none other than the newly retired Awesome Kong.
That's perfect.
It was so good. Kong comes out, and then I think Gail came out afterwards as well, and the three of them were there because that feud. If you're not privy to the Gail Kim Awesome Kong feud from back in the late 2000 singles, go look it up. It was the first time that women had main evented TNA Impact. First time they main evented a pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken, and it was just some amazing stuff. So Awesome Kong, it got me a little bit in the feels, I'm not gonna lie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then after that, you had the women's month. They didn't call this the Daphne Memorial, but it kind of was, because Daphne and Taylor Wilde had the very first Women's Monsters Ball.
Yeah. So
this was in honor of that, in a manner of speaking. So you had another Women's Monsters Ball. It was Kimberly versus Savannah Evans versus Alicia Edwards, who just goes by Alicia when she's wrestling.
Oh.
She's Alicia Edwards when she's elsewhere on TV and stuff, and when she's wrestling, it's just Alicia.
Hey, whatever.
Sure. Versus Jordan Grace. And my only complaint about this match is that it was very short. It was only all of like 12 minutes, if that. So there was a lot to take in on it. There was barbed wire kendo sticks. Jordan Grace did a muscle buster oh, who was it? She muscle busted Kimberly. She muscle busted Kimberly onto Tax. There's a giant bag of Tax introduced.
yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Grace is a fantastic muscle buster, by the way. So, in general,
Yeah.
but there was a good amount there was no tables, surprisingly. Lots of chairs, kendo sticks, trash cans. I think they went through like 2 trash cans, just demolished them. And then Tax, of course. But at the in the end, like I said, pretty short match. Savannah Evans got the victory. So that leads us to the main event of the night. Oh, that's not the main event. The finals, excuse me, of the tournament was Tasha Steele and Mercedes Martinez. Winner gets a title shot in the future, right?
Yeah.
What do you think won?
I'm gonna go with Tasha Steele.
Would you say that because she is on the roster?
Yes.
That would be a smart choice, but that would also be wrong.
Wow.
Mercedes Martinez won, so that might be a second Impact star. Remember, these days of the Forbidden Door, it's all relative in a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
But Mercedes Martinez gets a future title shot, and I want to see that Mercedes Martinez Deonna Purrazzo match.
Yeah,
I
me
want
too.
to see that.
Me
yes,
too.
sir. Your main event. I was a little bit surprised why this is the main event, but I understood shortly after the pay-per-view ended. It was Decay versus The Influence, which is Tennille Dashwood and Madison Rain. Come on,
Madison
JJ,
Rain,
get it
yes.
together. I kept wanting to say Morgan something or another, and I'm like, that's not right. That's not the right name. But this is the Knockouts title that fits. First of all, the crowd Decay is so over right now, which is weird when you think about what their characters are.
Oh no, I love their characters.
I love their characters. I love Rosemary. Here's the reason why I love Rosemary. She's very good in the ring. She's got great talent. She has amazing, facial expressions with. Well, you never see her without face paint. Actually, if you go back and watch the Tag Me In video, you actually do see Rosemary without face paint.
Really?
That's the first time that I can remember seeing her without face paint. It's kind of like, I sort of know who you are, It's like one of those weird things. But amazing facial expressions. But I love the fact she always refers to herself in plural.
Yeah.
It's always we and us.
Yeah. No, I love it too.
Because she's part of the demon assassins, the whole anyway. But they're super over. This was a fun match. You had Taurus and Crazy Steve were at the ringside for Decay, and Caleb with the K, of course, was at the ringside for The Influence. They kind of get into it, and Taurus and Steve, kind of shoo Caleb away so to clean up the outside. And so that kind of gets rid of the Influence's usual bag of tricks. They still try to pull some shenanigans. It doesn't work, and Decay retains their titles. They get the victory.
Perfect.
And that's how you end Fade to Black, but not for long, because there's a video that starts playing as soon as it fades to black before the final credit, thing shows up. Here's an announcement for you. Coming October 23rd, Bound for Glory, The Inspiration.
You're the light of my life. You're my inspiration. Yes.
Jesse McKay. You got to be joking me. I'm getting that shirt. I've got to get that shirt. Going to be
shirt.
debut. They're officially in Impact. They're debuting at Bound for Glory, the pay-per-view on the 23rd, and they're debuting in a tag team title match, as a matter of fact, against Decay.
Which they'll probably take down.
I honestly think so. I mean, if you really want to, I think you will. They're building up Bound for Glory to be something really nice. And I know Impact doesn't get the viewership. We know, we've talked about that a lot before. We know the main reason why. It's called Access TV, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Their buy-in rate's not super huge either, but it's not the worst in the world, right? They're still in business, for God's sake. And Anthem is behind them, the company that owns them, Anthem Entertainment. Bound for Glory. If you guys are on the fence, maybe you don't know, you hear us talk about Impact and you're not 100% sure about it, trust me, this is going to be a pay-per-view. This is going to be something special. Because not only do you have that should be a great match. Your main event is going to be Christian Cage versus Josh Alexander. Give me some of that. Give me all of that. You're going to have a triple threat match for the X Division, the vacated X Division title. And that match is going to consist of Trey Miguel, Steve Macklin, and we'll find out tonight who the third participant is, but that's going to be a straight up banger. You're going to have the Bullet Club involved some way. You're going to have a lot of people involved because there is the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. And those who aren't familiar, I don't know if do you know about the Call Your Gauntlet? You know a little bit about it, Jamie?
Not much, honestly.
All right, so basically, this is what Rhino and Heath had gotten last year. Or Heath had and bequeathed to Rhino, and Rhino used it when he joined Lion by Design. I digress. So basically, it's a gauntlet match that if you are the winner of that, you basically have an open title shot of your choosing sometime before the next Bound for Glory.
Nice.
Money in the bank, basically.
Yeah.
In a different fashion. And the way they decide that's with a gauntlet match. The gauntlet match is a 20-person gauntlet match.
Damn. Damn.
Yes. Yes, I know. Now, they're having, tonight on Impact, they're having a 20-man battle royal. Guess who the 20 men are involved are? Your participants for the gauntlet match. With the winner, here's the cool thing. So Battle Royal gets down to the final two, right?
Yeah.
The winner gets the last entry in the gauntlet. The person who, because I think they're doing the Battle Royal style where it gets down to the final two and it becomes an actual match, right?
Yeah.
Pinfall submission from there. Whoever gets beaten in that final two, number one in the gauntlet match.
Oh.
High stakes, I know.
So if you're in the last two, then you lose your number one? Damn.
Yeah, you could have the best position or the worst.
Damn.
And everything else is going to be like random choice, right? You know, so you get eliminated third. You're the third person remaining. You get eliminated. You could be entry 2 or entry 19, right? You don't know.
Yeah.
But I just found that amazingly interesting. They do that, you know. Impact always fucks around with some of the stipulations and does crazy things. They did the whole feast or fired thing, you know. So, and there's going to be probably more stuff involved as well. So they really have two massive pay-per-views a year. There's Slammiversary and Bound for Glory, and then they have a couple that they rotate in as like bigger pay-per-views, you know. And then they have a bunch of these little guys throughout the year. But Bound for Glory, definitely worth it. It's on fight.tv. Go check it out. I'm buying it for sure. We're gonna have picks for it. I showed Jamie. It's been craft time at J Money's house. I've been making our little toy belt because we do include the Impact big pay-per-views in our Grand Slam of pay-per-view pick titles that we have. Currently held by the tyrant known as Megan Faulkner, and I need to get it out of her hands. I'm spending my time and money crafting a goddamn toy replica. If I have to hand that over to her, you know how much that's going to break me. Considering that I know she hasn't watched Impact probably ever.
That's not incorrect. She definitely does not watch it, but she didn't watch it the first time and whooped both of us. Like, got it right.
I know.
So frustrating. That's why I joined her. I'm like, I can't beat her. So
can't beat her, join her, right?
Yeah.
Funny story. So I called Jamie about a work thing during work hours earlier today. We work on the same team at our job. So I gave him a buzz, and we both work from home in our department. So I gave him a buzz near the end of the day. Had a question about this account, right? And Megan was in the back, and I heard him as he's putting on his headphones, and she goes, "Oh, that's not Mom. It's just JJ. It's not important." I'm like, this fucking girl. Not only does she beat the shit out of me on my own podcast in our little like fun competition thing, she just rubs it in, and I can't say shit because
I know.
she just beats the crap out of me, and she's a 15-year-old girl. So
You go like this. She goes like this, like this, like this. That's all there is to it.
But she's not a Grand Slam champion yet, and I have the opportunity to pry the belt away. Keep the belt that I'm going to finish making with my arts and craft time this weekend in my clutches. Get me closer to getting my official group logo. If you haven't been following along, folks, we actually have a bet now. So whoever becomes a Grand Slam champion gets a faction logo made, courtesy of Total Spotfest graphic artist right here, of their individual for this whole purpose. And so Jamie is trying hard to get Faulkner World Order shirts made, probably for the whole family. I'm guessing that if he gets it, he's going to order them for the whole. I'd go over to pay-per-views and it'd be like all his girls all in FWO stuff, and I'm trying to hold on for the good fight for the J Money Club, So we shall see. We'll actually, I'm just checking my calendar here. So next Thursday, another wrestling roundabout, we're gonna go through our picks. Card subject to change. Impact is known to tweak stuff literally right before their pay-per-views. Because of their size, they can do that, try and get some last-minute buys, basically. But we'll go over the card as far as we know, make our picks as far as we know that Thursday. And then the following week, we will have the results, and we'll let you know if JJ was able to add a second title under my name here, or if it's staying over. Jamie's not even in contention for all this. He literally is the finger poke of doom guy. He's in there just to take up space.
Yeah, because if I win, I will just finger poke of doom, lay down. Megan gets her belt, and all is good in the world.
I think you should still go for it. I think you should. You've held some of these belts, Jamie.
I have, but I've learned that I can't beat the man. I just can't. I thought I was the man at one point, and she just made sure that she put me in my place because I took it from her one time, one pay-per-view. I had it, and it was gone after that. So,
and the ironic thing is, before we started this whole the podcast and we started the actual official keeping record of all our pay-per-view picks and stuff thing, is that we would do picks, whenever we'd meet up for the big pay-per-views. It would be at my house or Jamie's house, or a couple times we went to Young Boy's house, whatever, And she always beat the crap out of us then, too.
It was, just ridiculous.
So it's not a new occurrence. It's been going on since she's been 12. So what?
Yep. Accurate.
All right. So that was, we'll get a lot more about Bound for Glory next week. Give you a preview of that next Thursday. But the Knockdown was great. For $10 for a pay-per-view, it was highly worth it. I really enjoy Impact's little small pay-per-views because they're cheap.
Yep.
They're not 6 hours long. It's good. It's good stuff usually. And it's not. It's only $10. It's better than what's out there. About what's out there, of course, I mean WWE land, because let's go from this hand here.
Well, hold on. All
right, you want before I make that correlation? Okay, go ahead.
I just want to ask you one simple question.
Yes.
Do you think a 8-minute and 12-second match for a one woman's match is a solid match, or you still think that's kind of light?
I think that's decent. I mean, depends on the setup and everything, but that's for TV time. That's not bad as long as that's not the only match. But yeah, I would think that'd be fine.
Yeah. So 8 minutes, 12 seconds. Not a bad match, right? Decent quality TV time. Actually on air, not including commercials, anything. Like 8 minutes, 12 seconds
Sure.
for one match is pretty good, right?
It's not bad. Yeah, I mean that's about standard for 10 minutes. About standard for a TV match, really.
What,
Yeah.
what if I told you could not only have one match in 8 minutes and 12 seconds, but you could have 4 matches in 8 minutes and 12 seconds?
Before this past week, I would have been like, "Oh, bullshit," but
Yeah.
that really happened, folks. So
8
they're doing
minutes.
they're doing this whole Queen's Crown tournament thing, right?
Queen of the Ring. Yeah, Queen of the Ring.
It's the female Queen of the Ring. This past week on SmackDown and Raw, the 4 women's matches added up to just over 8 minutes. I have them written down here. This is I have the numbers. Thank you to Denise Salcido from Fightful Select and other things for providing these numbers for us.
Mm-hmm.
Shayna Baszler, Dana Brooke, 1 minute. I got whatever. Doesn't matter what shows they were on. Shayna Baszler, Dana Brooke, 1 minute 22 seconds. Natty versus Dewdrop, 2 minutes 59 seconds.
Oh, I have different numbers. That's funny.
I'm just going off of what, like I said, whatever Denise had posted on Twitter, I literally just copied them.
Okay.
I didn't want to do the work, and she already did it for me. I'm like, all right, just write that down. Boom. It's pretty close, no matter what.
Yeah.
We're off by a few seconds.
A few seconds.
Zelina Vega, Tony Storm, 2 minutes 13 seconds. Carmella and Liv Morgan. Oh, this one pisses me off. 1 minute 33 seconds. Your entire first round was roughly 8 minutes and change. I know, a couple seconds here and there. Wow.
The longest match was Dewdrop Natalia. Out of all of the matches that were on there, that was the longest. Like,
and I don't. You can't say that. Oh, none of these is because these women aren't necessarily, what Vince's thing is. Dewdrop won in the longest match. Shayna Baszler moved on over Dana Brooke, right? Zelina Vega beat Tony Storm. So, I mean, you would think, as far as what is Vince like blonde hair and big boobs, right?
Yep.
I don't know. The juxtaposition of seeing the positive vibe, good all-around show from Impact with all these different women, Mercedes Martinez winning the thing. You hit a trans wrestler on there, getting big pop, and the appreciation for Daphne on an awesome Kong being entered into the Hall of Fame, and Decay winning the main event. All this really cool stuff to whatever the hell this is as your alternative or as your mainstream, I guess. And I'm not even going to blame Vince anymore. I will solely point the finger at one person for all of this. Not who you want me to say, because you want to do the voice, but it's not him. The VP of talent relations or whatever he is, John Laurinaitis.
Mm-hmm.
He runs the women's division for the main roster. These are all his decisions.
It's ridiculous.
And
back to the divas.
It is, because who gets to? I mean, here you have 8 women, each got a minute on TV if you break it down that way, right?
Yeah.
And then who you have 3 hours of Raw, who is not watched by a lot of people. We'll talk about numbers as we always do on Tuesday, but spoiler alert, there are about 1.5 million people watched it, and there were just over 4,000 people. They were at the Golden State Warriors arena, okay? This is a 2-year-old NBA arena that seats 18,000 people for a professional basketball game. 4,000 people were there for Raw. I looked at some of the pictures of Twitter during the event. They were embarrassing.
I mean, terrible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And, so you have 3 hours worth of Raw. SmackDown's 2 hours. They're going to do 2.5 this week because they're scared of Tony Khan. And who gets all the TV time for women? Because, 8 minutes, that ain't shit, right? Well, there's not a lot of TV time for women, but when they do give TV time, it's Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch,
Sasha Banks. That's it.
and then Bianca Belair is kind of like, luckily, lopped herself in there. Because she's involved with Sasha Banks, and that's the whole thing,
Yeah.
If Bayley was healthy, Bianca would be back in the catering, probably, or in this this bullshit. That's it. That is literally it, and it's infuriating and stupid. I don't even know. I mean, I feel bad for all of them. I mean, all the ones. Zelina Vega, Toni Storm, Liv Morgan, Dewdrop or Piper Nevins. Please God, it's like I want them all to leave and go somewhere else. Go to Impact, go to Ring of Honor, for God's sake. Ring of Honor is giving more attention to their women's division than WWE is.
100%.
They only had a women's division for like 5 years, so
It's just sickening, man. Like, and we talked on our last show about how Rampage could use more women's matches.
Well, AEW in general, we kind of talk
AEW
about,
in general, 100%.
because we tend to focus more on AEW for those who can't read between the lines. But yes,
I mean, like, this is embarrassing. Like, if WWE actually gave a damn about its fan base, this is embarrassing. You want women to watch this, between the ages 18 and 49? This isn't how you get it. You want men to watch it between 18 and 49? This isn't how you get it either. Because, it's just one of those things, like, you hear these stories like Bayley, AJ, who grew up giant wrestling fans and wanted to become professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because they watched these amazing matches on TV, and they followed people like Lita and
Lita and Trish.
Trish.
Yeah.
You
Plus, you had Molly Holly and Medusa, and during the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, there was a good female presence. Chyna, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And granted, they had the stupid bra and panties matches and shit like that,
but they were sexualized, and I don't want to gloss over that.
No.
But they still were given time to shine, and it wasn't just one or two.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is like, I just can't stress this enough. Like, even the middle matches back in the day, like when they were full on super diva, after the Attitude Era, they were still having a little bit longer matches than this, but they were just there for their looks and not for their ability. Now you have women who are amazing wrestlers. Every last one of these women there in this 4 matches, and you give them 8 minutes and 12 seconds for 8 women. That's a minute a person. Like, that is just damn embarrassing, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But you know what? They're a bunch of old misogynistic bastards who don't even care.
No, and they're not doing the over sexualization. Thank God that they did back in the Attitude Era.
Mandy Rose?
Bra and panties. Well, okay. I meant of like the bra
For
and
now.
panties and
For
all
now.
that. All and there was I think there was a pudding fight, wasn't there? I'm pretty sure there was a pudding fight or a Jello fight of some
They've done
sort.
Jello, they've done oil, they've done pudding. They back
They
in
had
the
a
day.
bikini contest with with
Tori Wilson,
literally
Stacey
literally
Keibler.
Jerry the Queen Lawler just sexually verbally assaulting them and lined up in the ring. Just disgusting. So I mean, they're not doing that. Yes, some of the looks is definitely sexualized. Mandy Rose is one of them, but also the other women, other women of her stable, the same thing. Eva Marie, whatever you think of her, same thing. But they're not doing that sort of exploitation stuff, right?
Yeah.
That they were doing back in the Attitude Era. However, that doesn't excuse the fact that you've negated airtime to this degree, to the point where this is literally insulting. 4 matches for 8 minutes. The entire women's division, minus the chosen few, that gets airtime, first of all, because, I mean, Tegan Knox, Shotzi Black, I mean, they're not broken up, but where were they, you know?
Yeah.
Mia Yim's been at catering for God knows how long. I know that she took some time off. There's personal things going on. Keith got really sick. Okay, cool, right? But she hasn't been seen on TV since she was in fucking the war, whatever the road war, you know, the Mad Max Thunderdome Warriors were. I don't even remember. Thank you. Yeah, whatever that shit was. She hasn't been on TV since then. You know, and countless others that you know, that don't even get the light of day. So I think that's the thing. It's insulting more than anything. It's the part that gets me.
Yeah, like I bet you money that none of those women are happy about the way that their matches went. Like they barely even got TV time, and some of them didn't even get TV entrances.
Yeah, well, hardly any of them. I mean, half of them don't.
Yeah,
they always do them right after the commercial break, so they don't have to show one of the entrances, which is insane. And you know, and I'm placed to blame on Journal and Laurinaitis, like I said, but it goes further than that. I read a rumor, once again, I don't know, internet, wrestling community rumor, whatever. But over the weekend, there was playful banter between Britt Baker, who, like you had very dubiously said in our last episode, is killing it. She's very much the queen of wrestling Twitter, I would say. Even though she doesn't have the most followers and stuff, whatever, she's got the best quips by far. She just inserts here and there at all the perfect times.
Yeah,
by far. You know, and that's me even saying a lot, even though my girl Ruby Soho, hey Ruby, has picked up her social media game finally. She's been like actually doing it. So, but over the weekend, Britt Baker and Liv Morgan had a little tit for tat sort of you know meet cute sort of thing back and forth bit, right? Didn't matter too much or whatever. I think it started with that Liv commented on something that Adam Cole posted, a funny thing that Adam Cole posted, and of course Britt's very defensive of her man, you know, and came back in character very defensive of her. Boom, 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 ooh, and that was it, right? Well, apparently that got the internet all a Twitter and saying, "Oh, Liv's gonna go. She's gonna join Ruby over in AEW and all this stuff. Why aren't you gonna do all that?" You know, and that's not the case whatsoever.
no.
So the rumor is that Laurinaitis had a sit down with Liv Morgan, told her not to engage with anybody from the other company.
Of course he did.
It's not a good look for WWE. And so yeah. I'm just like, really? You got to have a timeout with a grown-ass woman for an online thing that really didn't matter to shit. And if nothing else, she's at least getting talked about because you bury the fuck out of her. Liv Morgan's supposed to be given all these chances, right, by management. She's earned it. She's worked her ass off as a competitor in general, and as a singles competitor, she worked her ass off. She went to the bullshit lesbian angle with Lana, right?
Oh, so bad. Yeah.
And then they brought Ruby back after she had her surgeries and she was all healed, right? And how do they introduce her? You two are feuding.
Yeah, made zero sense. Then they brought them back together.
And then out of nowhere they get, you know, and they didn't really, just kind of they're like, and you guys are good now, so make up. It's like whatever, you know. And they've been. So that's just one example. I don't even want to go through what Zelina Vega's been through with all this shit. It includes her getting fired, as a matter of fact, in the middle of everything.
Going back. Why the fuck did she go back?
Because there's a thing called a bank account. When you put large sums of money in that, it tends to help with the purchase of things like houses. And
I get that, but damn. Like,
I mean, it had to be. It had to be.
I mean, they threw a bunch of money at Adam Cole. He walked. They threw a bunch of money at Malachi Black. He walked. You know? Just
I
wait
don't
till
want to speculate. I don't know, but maybe the offer that Zelina Vega had wasn't good anywhere else. Maybe it wasn't as much, and maybe that's important. Maybe, I don't know. But we don't know the full story, too. We're just going on with the servers. We don't know the full inner workings behind the scene for each individual person, right? Because to a man, most people will tell you, like 95% of people tell you that Vince is actually a great person on a personal level, all this stuff, right? We don't see any of that. We can only hear secondhand stories of that.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know. I don't want to speculate into some of that, why they did what they did. But they did. She did get fired and she did come back. Carmella's never going to leave, but is her boyfriend he's got the sweetheart deal, right? You know, Corey Graves ain't going anywhere anytime soon unless he pulls a Jerry the King Lawler on the mic or something stupid like that, right? You know, John Gruden email starts popping up from him. Yeah, I mean,
right.
You know, he's not going anywhere, and because of that, you know, she's going to get just enough airtime to keep her satisfied.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't know where you go from. I mean, the thing is, like, I caught bits and pieces of like NXT 2.0 over the past few weeks. Once again, mostly online clips, right? Watch a few like little recap videos here and there. The women's division down there, even though it's not necessarily what it was, is still getting the same sort of presence that it has had for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And you still got, whether you like her or not, Raquel Gonzalez has come leaps and bounds. Indy Hartwell, who's now teaming up with her, like one of her real life best friends, Persia Pelly or something or another. Now that Candice LeRae's on maternity, you know, she still looks good. Io Shirai's still there, right? Zoe Stark, this new chick from Global Gym. Diamond Mine is.
Yeah, no joke.
I saw somebody tweeted that at Malcolm Bivens, and it's like Diamond Mine's entrance, and it was the entrance of Global Gym Cobras from Dodgeball. It was fantastic. And to be honest with you, I've seen clips of, like, well, first of all, she's a physical specimen, but they all in general. I mean, I don't have as much hatred for NXT 2.0 as I did when they first kind of rolled it all out. It's a lot of young people. I know this, and I know a lot of them came from non-wrestling background, right? They weren't indie wrestlers or self-built up. That doesn't mean that they're not good, promising young talent.
That's fair.
You know, I still don't know about this whole Harlan bullshit, but
that dude just looks weird, and I don't get it.
He attacked Ciampa apparently last week after his match, and his attack was a matter of him just kind of doing like one of those like boom, knock you over or stand over you bits, and then looking weird. And then Joe Gacy like rubbed his face and he disappeared. And oh no, it's weirder now that he shaved his head and his eyebrows.
Yeah, he looks like
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, but
Braun Strowman, if Braun Strowman went like straight edge and too far,
white supremacist.
Edge. White supremacist Braun Strowman. Hashtag that shit. Okay.
I mean,
to put a bow on this though, but the women are still getting their due down there, which makes it even more infuriating, I guess, you know, because you have all these other women on the main roster who don't even get the same opportunity that they get in the developmental brand. Developmental brands, like half of it is their women's division, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's a damn shame. And the thing is too, is like they're pushing all these young people in NXT, which is great. I definitely want to see them push young talent, but they screwed over so many other ones and current ones. Like, what are they going to do with some of these people there have been long-standing people there? Johnny Gargano. What are they going to do with him? You know, he's not in the picture for anything. You know, really. They broke up the way because Austin Theory's up on Raw now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Candice LeRae had the baby, so John, yeah, so.
Yeah.
That's understandable. I mean, Ciampa feels out of place, honest to God.
Yeah.
He's in there with like basically in his circle of feuding is Braun Breaker, Joe Gacy, Harlan or whatever the fuck his name is now. Really?
Yeah.
Who? One of these things is not like the other. It's the guy with the gray fucking beard, right?
Yeah, and all this build up for Cameron Grimes, like all this build up for him.
He was so over. You were even getting over on him.
It was difficult, but yes.
You were getting over. You were getting there. But yeah, and it was done. It was a long-term story. And then I don't know where fuck Cameron Grimes is. Apparently he's still on there. I don't know, but he doesn't fit in anymore. Kyle O'Reilly's teaming up with like that real tall motherfucker, whoever that guy was on the first night. You know, was the mystery entrant. I don't get it. Roddy Diamond Mine is actually one of the best things I think about NXT 2.0 now. To be honest with you, this young tag team they have, they actually look they're really fun. I actually watched a couple of their matches. I went back and pulled up on YouTube and actually watched a couple of their matches. They are actually very entertaining. I recommend checking them out sometime. But you're right. What do you do when your run is done? Because I mean, WWE is at a point where there's nowhere they can put anybody, especially women. There's nowhere they can put anybody.
No. Because, well, one, if they go up to Raw or SmackDown, they got 8 minutes and 12 seconds for 8 women. And, you know, and NXT is completely full now. And hold on. I want to go back to Cameron Grimes for just 1 second.
Okay. All right.
He is no longer listed as a champion on WWE's website.
As part of the whole rebrand, they kind of dropped the $1 million title.
Isn't that ridiculous? It's like it never happened.
It did. He was on there. He was listed on there.
I know. I saw it with my own eyes too.
I don't know.
It's just god awful. And like, who the hell's Carmelo Hayes?
Oh, he's your North American champion. He's a dude who won the Breakthrough tournament, right? I told you about that
When I remember that, but I'm just saying, like, I like that.
And that's who it is, yeah. But that's yeah. It's a guy that won the Breakthrough tournament, and now he's a champion.
Yeah, no, I like him. Like, I like the fact that they're doing that. And Roderick Strong's now the cruiserweight champion. Crazy. MSK, which we knew was going to be good, is still the champions, which I'm finding very, very interesting. But again, NXT hasn't been doing much with the tag team division, really.
No, they keep breaking people up, moving people around. They do have some tag teams out there. Like I said, the tag team from Diamond Mine looks good. Yeah. You have MSK. You still got Legado that's out there. Hit Row's now called up, which that sucks for all of them.
Fast. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were getting super. Here's the thing. No, I'm not going down that path. I was gonna flash the race card at WWE, but I'm not going to.
I mean, they're hip. That's what the kids like, right? That's exactly what they're thinking. Not necessarily the race card, but that's what the kids like. They're into that kind of stuff. They're into rap music and people just freestyling. We'll put them on Raw or SmackDown, and they'll just eat them up like a spoon, and we'll sell the shit out of their merchandise. That's exactly what they thought. Can they wrestle? I don't care.
Right. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Put them up here, you know? I don't know. I mean, I can't think of many other tag teams. I don't watch enough of NXT to really know. I just know of a handful, but it is weird that MSK are now like the other statesmen, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's going to be some of the people who are going to go back because I think NXT UK is going to start shooting in front of live audiences before the end of the year. I don't remember when I saw a blurb somewhere about that. So Grizzled Young Veterans, some other ones, they might go back over to UK, right? I don't know. You know, the truth be told, if I had my choice, it still would be NXT.
Yeah. I mean, I'd much rather watch that over the shit that's on.
At least there's matches on there. At least the women get a shot. And I might not know any of these young kids, but at least, you know, some of them are entertaining. You know, so the little bits that I've seen, right? I might have some general complaints about the overall direction of NXT now. There's a little bit more sexualization that doesn't need to be there. You know, although I do love me some Mandy Rose. I think that you could put some clothes on her, for God's sake. If this is her choice, cool, right? But let's be honest, it's not 100% her choice.
But
But
pays
you
the
tell
bills,
us,
unfortunately.
you tell us what you guys think. WWE screwing the pooch hard with the women's division, yes or yes? Or if you have a different opinion, which might be something else, I can't think of the word, let us know. Give us a comment down below. And above and beyond that, you know, we've talked about AEW's women's division last week, right? Talked about things that, like, what they're doing right, where they need to go, because we feel like they're going in the right direction at least.
Yes.
They're on the road. You know, they got several exits to get to, but they're on the right road. Impact is a super highway. They know how to do this. They do women's division probably best, right? You know, some of the other ones are doing good. You know, Ring of Honor, MLW now with you know, what they've got going on in there. Mickie James in NWA. You know, give us your guys' thoughts. Do you care, first of all, about women's wrestling as much as we apparently do?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts about the different promotions out there? Give us a comment, give us a tweet, let us know. I want to change gears to finish up here today.
Let's do it.
Because instead of just dunking on WWE, let's end on a positive note. And I can't believe I'm making that equation when I refer to the following promotion. But over the weekend, I can, because I've liked it for a while. But probably if promotions were wrestlers, this promotion would be the Fuego del Sol of promotion.
Ooh.
It's something that's come on strong. It's been around for a bit, but it's really come on strong in the last year or so, especially once the pandemic started, and now it's just rolling, and it's probably the hottest thing in as far as promotions go that's out there, and that's going to be Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. So over the weekend, GCW, and we found this out when we attended our first GCW show in Chicago, because we went to show like, hey, we get to go to a show, and then we realized, oh, this is night 2 of like 4 they do like multiple shows in a row. That's all part of like a big pay-per-view weekend thing. So they do this quite often. But over the weekend, they had 2 shows in Atlantic City, New Jersey. They had a show on Saturday, which had a great title. It was GCW Fight Club, Mox versus Gage. Like, don't bury the lead at all. That, you know, this is what you're paying money for, right? This is what it is. And then on Sunday night, they had GCW Aftermath. And I'm not going to go through every match and do all this stuff. I just will suffice to say, these are fantastic shows. We were much impressed with the GCW show that we saw. It wasn't necessarily one of their big ones. It wasn't the biggest one from the Chicago weekend either. And we didn't stay for the death match because it was way late.
Yeah.
But this show here had a bunch of good stuff in it. And it's got a bunch of people that appear in it, and there's more people wanting to appear in GCW. It is really growing leaps and bounds. So a couple of the highlights from the first night, you had a triple threat match, which was Ninja Mac, Leo Rush, and Alex Zane. Alex Zane got the victory.
That's awesome.
Hello, that match. You had old GCW stalwart, Joey Janela, with another independent scene stalwart, including GCW, Marco Stunt, tag teaming against Starboy Charlie, who I thought, who is this 12-year-old kid? And then I was like, oh my God, this guy can go, right?
Yeah. He surprised the hell out of us.
He's surprised. He was so good. He teamed up with Chris Dickinson, and they got the victory as well. There was the Internet Championship. So last GCW event, Effie surprise beat Matt Cardona for his Internet title, right?
Yes.
So he's putting it back up against Matt Cardona, but something's got to be in it for him. So the Internet title versus Matt Cardona's GCW career. So if Effie wins, Matt Cardona who is the most hated man in independent wrestling by far. Not even close to anybody else, right?
It's great.
It's so good. And there's remember that. I'm going to make a reference to that here in just a second. But if he lost, he would no longer be in GCW. So Effie had one of his kind of stable mates, Allie Catch, a female, was at ringside.
Yeah, Allie Catch.
And there was a surprise entrant that came in and helped negate Allie and the ref, led to a series of low blows for the two of them on Effie. And Matt Cardona did his finisher from the top rope, got the victory to win his title back. That surprise combatant was none other than Chelsea Green, helping out her fiance.
Perfect.
So good. So good. There was a scramble match. Usually they do the 6-pack scrambles, right?
Yeah.
You know? So this wasn't a 6-pack scramble. This was a 7-way scramble. Because you had Jimmy Lloyd, ASF, Brandon Lee, Calvin Tankman, Dante Leon, one of our favorites, Gringo Loco.
Yeah.
And your surprise entrant, Thunder Rosa.
Oh, that's kick-ass.
Oh, yeah. This match, go watch. This match was flippy, spinny shit all over the place. This was so good. Thunder Rosa did a, diving, twisting, crossbody thing from the top rope onto, 5 people outside. There's so many spots. This match was great. Jimmy Lloyd won that. And then you had a couple other matches in the show, but your main event was Moxley versus Nick Gage in a death match for the GCW World Title. And here, I think, is one of the stigmas about GCW that people, people can't get past. And they think that GCW is a deathmatch promotion.
Yeah.
And that's not wrong. That's definitely not correct. Because, yes, they do death matches. They have some pay-per-views that are nothing but death matches. That's not what they are. They are a wrestling promotion that does death matches. The show we went to had no death matches. Had some stuff. He pulled out a table and there's some stuff with the typical wrestling shit, right?
Yeah.
And then after they were done with that, when we left, they were actually getting set up. This was at 1 a.m., right? Because it started at 11 o'clock at night. They were setting up for a death match that we could have stayed and watched. But so I think that's the thing. People think of GCW as the same as ICW, right? And ICW is definitely nothing but death matches. I mean, they don't even use ropes. They use chains and wooden platforms for the corners. So,
yeah.
This is not that. This is definitely, but they do death matches as part of it. And this was a death match. And this was not a terribly long death match. It was less than 20 minutes. But it started off, first of all, you had Mick Foley was there. He was he presented the title, right? And he was on commentary also. And before the entrance came out, he was on the mic. He said a nice little thing to people because there is the association between GCW, what it is now, the way it's growing now, and original ECW, right? They started in generally the same area, the same region, if you would. There's the Extreme, there's Deathmatch. It's not hard to see this correlation. So, but he ends his little thing before he hands the mic back over to the announcer with, and I want to just, from the bottom of my heart, from all you people, I just want to say, all you people, fans of ECW, Extreme Wrestling, and Deathmatch Wrestling, just want to say, truly, fuck Matt Cardona. So good. Nick Gage is the most over person. And if you don't believe me, watch his entrance. He literally gets mobbed. It's like the Beatles in '67. It's crazy, And there's security guards there, but they get overwhelmed by just regular ass marks like us that turn into fucking super fan out of nowhere. People just wanted to touch him. It's the craziest thing,
Yeah.
I love it. It's great. A guy who's who's the leader of the murder, death, kill gang.
Yes.
A convicted felon, right? he is so over. He's also one of the most positive people you'll meet, which is ironic as hell, but he's actually generally a nice person, really. So he comes out, Moxley comes out, and they're doing the announcements, and we saw this, that the announcement that the regular ring announcer does for Nick Gage takes like 5 minutes, right? He's like, title, so many things that he does, whatever. So he does all that, and he starts to get into Moxley just before he says his name. And he's this, hailing from here, the reigning defending champion, blah, blah, blah. John, here comes a barrel of, or a bundle of fluorescent light bulbs. Bam, let's get going. And they just start off strong, and, you know, back body drops over the ropes into barbed wire laced doors, glass panels left and right getting shattered, just more fluorescent light bulbs than you want, all the deathmatch things. There's 2 pizza cutters because Moxley's the first one that pulled out a pizza cutter, and then later on, Nick Gage had his pizza cutter, and they just all sorts of bloody terribleness, and it ended with a second rope paradigm shift onto a pane of glass suspended between 2 chairs. 1, 2, 3, Moxley retained. You can watch that. You can go just Google, search that on YouTube. You can watch that match online, and if you like extreme, you like deathmatch stuff, it's worth it. If you don't know if you'll like deathmatch watch, give it a watch. If you know, there's a lot of blood, but it's a very entertaining story if you can get past the blood. It really. And the next night they had a second promotion. So this was highlighted by Minoru Suzuki and Joey Janela. Minoru Suzuki defeated Joey Janela. It's great to see Suzuki there. You had Allie Katch, who I made mention of. She defeated Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes making an appearance, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did do a death match after the whole thing, but you know, it's kind of similar to when we went to 3 Cup stuff, right? It was Alex Colon defeating Jimmy Lloyd by referee's decision. And there were other people there. You know, Alex Zane was at this one too. He actually wrestled Starboy Charlie 1-on-1.
Oh, okay.
That would have been fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Also, they had a scramble, 6-way scramble, and Gringo Loco, and there were others involved in that, including one of our favorites, one of Jamie's definite favorites, and one of my newly found favorites, Everett Connors. Yeah. This is his 4th GCW show he's been at. Mm-hmm. I know, yeah. And he almost got suffocated at emo night, but GCW, and they announced too over the weekend that their January promotion, for the first time ever, is happening at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York.
Perfect. Famed
ECW home base. And, you know, I want to see GCW with 2,500 people.
Oh, same.
That should, I mean, if nothing else going to feel like old ECW, this will 100%.
Yeah. So GCW is seeing a lot of success right now.
Yeah.
MLW is as well. Like,
MLW's been on fire the last month or two, man.
I feel like there is a renaissance with the independent wrestling scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we as fans are celebrating said renaissance. Like, hell, Journey Pro, since they've been back from quarantine, have been on fire. They're like no duds, you know, at all. And you know, it's a beautiful thing that there is this renaissance. Like, independent wrestling is so big, and I think it has a lot to do, and this is where I want to get your thoughts on, is the forbidden door being just smashed wide open, and basically it's like a united front to say screw you to WWE from professional wrestling. And everybody, like all these big names popping up all over God's creation, you know, like, hell, we got to see 5, you know, I mean, he's not a huge name, like, but
he's pretty big.
He's a pretty big name, you know, like people know who 5 is, you know. And it's just one of those things, like, you see these guys is popping up left and right, and like, because there's no door. And I feel I don't want to give the credit 100% to AEW, because I'm not. but I will give it to the big sub 3 because WWE, of course, it's juggernaut. So AEW, Impact, and New Japan all
Right.
uniting, and then all these other independents are just paying dividends on it, and they're putting out great product because of the ability for everybody to work with everybody.
Sure. I agree with you. And here, I'm coming back to AEW because for the longest time, it was always out there. It's always been WWE, right? The juggernaut in the room, right?
Yeah.
And then who's going to try and challenge it? Nobody was going to get to that level, not on their own at least. But you had comers and goers, Ring of Honor, TNA. You'd have basically second tier if you think about this. You put WWE, size money, first tier, right? Second tier, you'd always have that. And then below that, you'd have, MLW and, a few others, kind of, like the big independents, right?
Yeah.
And then you had a bunch of regional stuff like the old days, right? And it felt like as a wrestler, you fit into a tier level. That's kind of how it was. It's like single A, double A, triple A majors. It's like if you're in triple A, you got to stay in triple A. You can move up or down, but you don't go back and forth. You're here or you're here. That's kind of the way it was. AEW, to me, I think AEW, I think this was always the plan, kind of in the back of all their minds, and Tony Khan, the Bucks, Omega, Rhodes. I think it was in the back of their minds that it's like, hey, we want to provide good wrestling. There's a lot of good stuff out here. We've gone to a lot of these other promotions. We have friends in all these other promotions. Why can't we all kind of help each other out? Because that'll help our product out. I feel like the idea of the Forbidden Door, I feel like it's always been there in AEW. And because of AEW is what opened it. And, I don't want to say it's all united front, because at the end of the day, everybody's still kind of competition for each other. But I think the collective, you win, you succeed, I succeed. Look at Impact and AEW's relationship, right? At the very beginning, from what was reported, there was heat between Anthem and Tony Khan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true, but that was the report. And now they're all over each other's shit.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, for one, it does nothing but good for wrestling fans. And I think it really gives credit to the fact that what we were bitching about earlier, there is an audience for something other than whatever Vince and Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard and Kevin Dunn tell us there is, There is that audience. GCW, I think, is at the moment, and MLW for what it's worth, because MLW, you're right. They signed a deal with Will Ospreay. He's debuting in December, and everything else they got going on. But, especially GCW is proof of that right now, because that is a promotion that 10 years ago, it never would have been on Fight TV for pay-per-views, right? It would have been just a piddly-ass little thing that up around Jersey, and you'd see maybe 100 people, 150 people max show up, right?
Yeah.
Super hardcore stuff. But now you have that opportunity because there's so much wrestling out there. I think that kind of lost my train of thought there.
So the one of the things is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I think that's what started it all. And
yeah.
Then, okay, so I liken this. So I'm going to give you this and just tell me what you think of this. You remember when Nirvana hit the scene back in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So everything was cookie cutter, big hair, that like we do it this way. And then finally somebody spoke up and said, you know what? Life kind of sucks. And like, I take lithium, you know, that kind of thing. And like, it's just like they're more realistic and what people needed at that time. They needed to have that release. And
Right.
I kind of liken this movement, this renaissance to grunge, the grunge
The
movement. I
grunge.
really do because it changed music forever. And it was what people were dying to have at that point. And like the 90s, music wise, was probably one of the greatest decades of all time because it was people standing up and speaking, you know, what was going on, just like the late 60s. You know, it was just like one of those things, like they were speaking their mind about truth and hate and pain and all these things.
I
And
actually took a class about this back at MU, and yeah, pop and rock, and that was that you could have definitely passed because that was the major thesis of our teacher, is that music as a whole, popular music as a whole, is a peak and valley. It runs to a spot, and then there's an event that happens, something that shocks it. British invasion, boom, changed the game. Coming up here, and then you had major, and then you had Nirvana, and then so they had, yeah. So just I had to throw that in there. Sorry.
no, but yeah. So my thing is, I think we are in the grunge era of independent wrestling, and I think we're in
Okay.
for a hell of a ride. You know, there's a Nirvana out there. There's gonna be the Alice in Chains out there. You know, Mudhoney is the one who started it all, if you will. So Impact could be Mudhoney, but they don't get the recognition of a Nirvana. AEW will, and then you have like the Alice in
Or is
Chains.
AEW more? AEW is more Pearl Jam, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe. New
One
Japan.
of them's bigger and longer lasting than the other. Okay, maybe New Japan's
New
Pearl.
Japan's Pearl Jam.
The, Nirvana's got a short shelf life. That's where I'm like,
Well, I really hope no one, lets their girlfriend.
I'm making too
allegedly.
I'm making a literal translation. I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, but the impact of Nirvana still lives to this day.
Right? Yeah.
And Pearl Jam's still out there going, rah, 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 because you can't understand a word he says. Yeah. I mean, Chris Jericho, Even Flow was his original theme song in WCW, just without the words.
Oh, 10 was such a good album. I mean, I like Vitalogy too, but 10 is just...
10 was really
good. 10 reminds me of junior high. Now I'm dating myself, but goddamn, I listen to the piss out of that album.
Yellow Ledbetter, let's go.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, let's do this. You guys tell us what you think, okay? Is this the dawn of a wrestling revolution or the middle of it? I guess we're past the dawn. Are we in the middle of this? Is this everybody teaming up against the WWE for the betterment of wrestling? Or is it all just a coincidence that the stars are aligning right now? It's still the dog-eat-dog world, which, let's be honest, wrestling as an industry primarily has been a dog-eat-dog world.
Mm-hmm.
My promotion, fuck your promotion. One of those things. I don't see a lot of that from getting to know Walter and DJ. We've got a little look behind the scenes and know some other promoters as well. And I don't hear it from any of them. That's definitely not the way they act.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what do you guys think? Do you think we're in the middle of this? Is it a matter of time before the machine just squashes everybody too? Because let's be completely honest. I don't think it'll happen, but that's a definite possibility.
Better not.
Better not. Yes, I know, but it did before. They were losing, and they beat they won. So here's the thing: if you underestimate your opponent, you will suffer fate.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right.
So let us know what you guys think, though. Give us a tweet, give us a comment. Tell us what your thoughts are. And while you're down there, give us some of your non-WWE. I see. Here's the thing: I hate calling everything independent. I almost don't like using independents anymore. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is GCW an independent wrestling promotion? Well, technically,
yeah.
Is Impact Wrestling an independent promotion? Well, they're not tied with anybody else. What is independent and what's not independent? Especially with the Forbidden Door now not being there. So what are some of your favorite smaller or independent promotions out there? Let's do that. You know, if you're in the Kansas City area, we hope to see Journey Pro. But you know, if not, tell us who they are. Or if you're not in the Kansas City area, let us know. Ones that you like, ones that you watch, ones that you have been interested in watching. Give us a comment, give us a tweet. We could go on this for hours, so I don't feel like we should. So.
Yes. I feel
Let's
like
wrap
we
this
hit
up.
our point.
We did. Absolutely. So we're going to leave it at that here. Once again, if you have not listened to our last episode, we interviewed Hoodie and Anaya, the Howlets, #HeelShit. Go check that out. We'll be back on Tuesday to go over all things supersized AEW weekend. We got an extra hour of Rampage on YouTube on Friday night, so look out for that. So we'll go over all things AEW on Tuesday. We'll be back with our Wrestling Roundabout next Thursday. Get you guys ready for Bound for Glory and whatever else may be going on there. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Once again, www.totalspotfest.com. Follow us on Twitter @TotalSpotFest. All the things. That's all I got. Jamie, take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spot Fest, I have 3 words for you. Women's matches matter.
You're damn right. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.